So this is something that I think less than 1% of the population is able to do. We're not willing to look at ourselves every day and say, which piece of me can I improve? Because it's easy to just be and to just, well, I'm not really good at that. So I'm just going to accept it that I'm not good at that. I'm not good at business because I have to be a focused mother, or I can't be a good mom because I don't have the skill set that she has. Like, you have to self-evaluate and say, where am I making excuses in my life? And take action to get better at that, even if it's 1% better at that thing, day by day by day, because you can transform any piece of your life. You truly have the power to do it, but you have to claim it, and then you actually have to do it, which is the hardest part.
I'm Autumn Bensett, founder of the Bossy Babe brand, fitness coach, and serial entrepreneur turned intuitive life and business coach. The Wealthy Babe podcast is for the ambitious, courageous, and spiritually charged up woman in network marketing, craving wealth not only in her bank account, but in every aspect of her life. Get plugged in here each week for authentic and unfiltered conversations from myself and industry leaders who are going to support you and give you all the juicy behind the scenes and real talk around business, spirituality, strong points of view, and doing shit differently. This is a safe space to come undone, be heard, and be given permission to rewrite your own damn rules. So here we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Babe podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Wealthy Babe Method, which is my signature group coaching program to build your coaching business, become a six-figure leader, and stand the fuck out online. This is the most intensive and intimate group coaching program to build your coaching business online, from a tingle in your soul to an overflow of clients excited and begging to pay you. So if you are a woman identifying as an inspiring entrepreneur, a CEO, a healer, a future online coach, and you are full body ready to build an online business, become a sought out leader, and make money in her purpose, her way, then you are going to want to listen to this. Side of this group coaching experience, you're going to learn, integrate, and infuse both the practical and energetic strategies of running a sustainable, impactful, and abundant business online. The goal is to become massively prosperous on your terms without sacrificing your values, your priorities, or your family in the process. You're finally going to be taught the business strategy and the spiritual support that you've been craving that will create a rock solid foundation for you to build a lifelong legacy and a profitable business online. Because it's not just strategy and it's not just spirituality, meditating, and wooing your clients to you. It's so much more. The Wealthy Babe Method is the most intensive and intimate group coaching program to build your coaching business online. And this 12-week signature program and mentorship is for the high-performing woman who is identifying as an aspiring entrepreneur. She's a CEO, she's a healer, or she's a future online coach, and she is desiring to build her business, or maybe she's emerging or already existing. And I'm formulating through this program what has taken me 5 years, multiple coaches, programs, and over $70,000 to learn. And I'm wrapping it up in a beautiful little package with a pink glittery bow into 12 weeks for you. This program is a combination of modules, which is dropped weekly, one at a time inside of your portal site, with concepts, techniques, tools, deep inner work, spiritual elevation, and business expansion through self-paced work, group support, and one-on-one live coaching to support you in not just building a soul-aligned business, but a solid foundation that can be sustainable since you are in this for the long haul. I want to know that this is not a one-size-fits-all method or a plug-in and get-rich strategy. This is a program intended to enable your leadership and trust within yourself. And after coaching 20 of my private clients, actually over 20 of my private clients, and helping guide them through transitioning from network marketing companies, corporate careers, full-time positions, and businesses that felt stale and stuck, into highly sought out coaches with thriving standout online businesses that have podcasts and speaking arrangements and fly all over the world, and that are authentically aligned with their soul's purpose, that they are afraid to fully step body into. I knew that it was time to create an experience that I could help the masses with, because up until now, this has just been reserved for my private clients at a 5-figure investment. So this experience is for the woman who in this present moment has already an online business, or perhaps you're on the edge of putting the wheels up and taking off on that online business. Maybe you're feeling bored in your network marketing business and you're desiring to lessen the pressure and expand your business into a brand with multiple streams of revenue and channels to serve your humans from. You're probably spinning your wheels with an overload of information and you have no idea where to start. Your content isn't converting into sales and you are feeling confused by your own direction and feel scared to jump ship again to truly follow your bliss. You're working really hard. You're working really, really hard versus really aligned, and you're finding that you're doing things that aren't lighting you up. You're burning yourself out and you're living under a lot of pressure to make this happen quickly. And you're desiring to generate about 10 to 20K in a month in cash, but currently you're generating anywhere from 0 to 2K. And you took time away from your business and you desire to build a family and you want to now fuse both worlds together and have both this thriving business and this family life. Maybe you desire to leave the corporate position that you've in or that you've worked your way up into, and now in this moment it's weighing you down, and you not only want to be a full-time entrepreneur, but you want to enjoy your life full-time too. Maybe you're a spiritual badass who wants to infuse both energetics and spiritual tools into her business and find a path to prosperity that feels good to her. You want to treat her business like a business so she gets paid like a CEO and you're ready to go to the top. Either or, you want to leave a true and lasting impact on not just your clients, but everyone who comes into contact with your brand. So if you are an existing or an emerging coach, whether that's life or business or health, mindset, etc., if you're a social media influencer, if you're an online doula, if you're a podcaster, if you're a virtual assistant, if you're a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, spiritual entrepreneur, spiritual leader, network marketer, this program and this experience is going to be for you. If you want more information on the modules and the curriculum and the guest experts, because I am bringing guest experts into this program to help on all things legalities and as well as a breathwork session. And there's going to be even more goodness coming in the weeks to come. Then go and check out all of the details. I have a lot of FAQ questions and everything set up there. I have different levels of payment plans. You can either pay in full, where you would receive a one-on-one private session with me if you so desire, or you can do 2 different payment plan options. So then there's really something for anybody, because I remember when I was in this position, I put myself back into the place that I was over 2 years ago when we had $4 left in our overdraft and like it was already maxed out to 2K, like negative 2K. And I had this pull in my soul to join a business program of my own, where I had my first 2 business coaches, and that took everything off for me. That's where everything started to shift. My whole world opened up into what was possible. And I put myself back into who I was in that moment and the investments that I made and how I made them and what I knew if I would be able to do, that same woman would be able to do as well. And I actually did it for like half that investment, and I spread out the payments even more. So I created so many different options. So then there really is something available for anybody. And there is also an option, if you so desire, to do an upgrade. So then you can get more access to me one-on-one via Facebook Messenger. You get a couple more private coaching sessions with me as well. And you get to elevate your money relationship and become a money magnet, essentially. So then you can really learn how to work with the energetics to attract in money and elevate your relationship with money in the next round of luscious money. So there is a upgrade option that you can so choose. And all of the FAQ is on the site. So there's tons and tons of information. So then you can get more details into what to expect from the modules, what to expect in the curriculum, and how it's all going to work. As soon as you enroll, you will receive an email within the next little bit. My team will send it out to you, and you will get added into the Facebook group. You will get unlocked into the portal site where you can start all the orientation work, which is essential to doing before the first module drops on October 1st. And you'll basically have access to all of the things. So I'm really excited to welcome you inside of the Wealthy Babe Method. And if you have any questions, if you are still curious after hearing this or reading up on the website, which is bossybabecoaching.com/WBM, and you still feel like there are more questions that you need answered, you're still not too sure if it is the right next step for you, then please don't hesitate to send me a DM on Instagram at bossybabe.xo, email me autumn@bossybabecoaching.com, or reach out to me on Facebook and get into my energy, get into my inbox somewhere so then I can make sure that we get those questions answered and get you on or off the fence. I hope that you enjoy this episode, and I will see you inside. Bye. Hi, welcome back, babes. I'm so excited for this episode. Stefanie so beautifully helps mompreneurs create passive income businesses that light them up. As both an exceptional mama and extremely successful entrepreneur, she empowers women to claim their best life by working less and still making more. She believes that when we let God's miracles light our path, we will profit from our passions, live proactively, and design a life that fuels our soul. Stefanie, it's so good to have you on. Thank you for being here.
Well, thanks, Autumn, for having me. Hello, everyone.
I'm really excited about our conversation today. I think it's just going to be really, really good. I'm really excited to talk about, I think, a lot of things like passive income, because I think that is something that I haven't really talked too much about my audience with so far. And I think everybody's like, tell me more about this, right? We're in an age and a time where everybody's craving a lot more space and time with their families and time living and experiencing life and actually feeling fulfilled versus, and nothing against hard work. I'm all about like, show up and do your part, but not feeling like their whole life is completely invested in the work. But let's just, before we even dive into that a little bit more, I'd love to introduce my audience and my listeners to a little bit more. And I'd like to, even myself, learn a little bit more about how you got here and your story and just what's kind of happened that's brought you to the place that you are right now.
Sure. So I think like so many of all of us, we were taught first what you should do. So it all started with the corporate career, got the master's in accounting, did all of that, and climbed the corporate ladder. By the age of 26, I was making six figures in corporate, jet setting to Germany and Spain. Do you guys remember the BlackBerry? I had a BlackBerry, like when those were cool. And it was great because it was just me. And I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. If any of you follow that test, I'm the achiever. So you'll be like, oh, she's a 3. Like I hear all the achievement stuff coming through, which is a blessing and a curse. Anyway, I was realigned. You have those pivot moments in your life where you're like, ooh, this hurts. This is hard. And through the pivot moments, you get more clarity and you go from, I've learned this skill set, but now it's ready for me to fine tune that skill set or that direction and be realigned into a bit more of my purpose. And I call it your God-led call. You may call it your soul call. It's the thing you were created for, right? So I took that first pivot at around the age of 28, and I was introduced to network marketing. And this was my gateway into entrepreneurship, like so many of us that are in the entrepreneur space or the online marketing world. It's a beautiful place to start. There's no overhead. It teaches you all the skills that you need, the public speaking, the sales, the marketing, storytelling. So got into network marketing. And interestingly, within the same year, my company went and shut down the doors here where we live. So I had no choice but to make that work. And I'm a dog with a bone. It was like, I'm going to do this thing. If that chick in that promo video can float around on her pink flamingo with her mimosa and make it rain dollar bills, so can I, right? So I just went for it. And within 2 years, top 1% of the company, walked the stage. I had the bonuses and the trips and the money and all the success. And it was fine for a while. until I let it become my identity. And I got lost in, I am what I do. I am what I achieve. And I became a full-fledged workaholic. I was working at 6 a.m, at 10 at night, on vacations. Everything was second to work. And I didn't see it because when you're in it, sometimes you don't see it, but it started to show. My relationships were hurting. I was isolating myself from family and friends. I was gaining weight extremely rapidly. There was just a lot of unhealthy things going on. And then I was realigned again. And isn't it interesting? Like, you find yourself in these pivotal moments and you have a choice. I had a choice to just dig in further and keep ignoring all of these warning signs. I was having anxiety attacks. And I had to like go through this almost life crisis to figure out who I really was meant to be and let go of all of these, false expectations that I had of myself and this whole earthly thing of like, you are your worth or success equals worth. So the story is what happened there. My team kind of started to disperse. There was all the new companies that had come out, the leggings, the nail polish, all the things. So the team was kind of going. I had a team of thousands and they were just, I wanted the next best thing and I don't blame them. And I couldn't work hard enough to refill this business model. The company went through a rebrand. So there were lots of things the timing was just really bad. And money started to fall away. My ranks started to fall. And for the first time in my entire life, I felt like a failure. And when your whole worth is wrapped up in I am what I do, when you have a label of, oh, I failed at something, well, you're worthless. So what did I do? I morally chose to step away from the network marketing business. It wasn't who I was anymore. It wasn't fueling me. It was unhealthy for me, that lifestyle. But there were pieces of it that I loved, but I didn't know what to do with that. So I sat there with my newborn baby in one hand, my 2.5-year-old in the other, and a bag of Doritos on my lap, right? And like watched Netflix and cried. I'm like, who am I? Like, Lord, who am I? And so I had a full-on life crisis at this point. And this was about, 3 years ago. It feels like so long ago, but it was only 3 years ago. And so here's what I did. When you are totally lost in like your darkest moments, when you're in it, it feels like the world is ending. But what's really happening is you're being reborn. And so I had to go through this process of rediscovering my own heart and letting go of the woman I was so that I could step into the woman I was meant to become. And it started with a piece of paper. So I got this sheet of paper out and I just wrote down who was the woman that I wanted to be. I didn't know how long it would take me to become her, if I even had what it took to be her. But I knew what she looked like and acted like and felt like and what she did every day. So she was spiritually led. She was very in tune with her spirituality. She had her family first. Her health was first. She was healthy and vibrant and energetic. And she worked 3 or 4 hours a day. She was serving people that wanted to be served, resonating with her. She was making ripples in the world and impacting people. And she was confident and powerful in who she was. And she was solid on her boundaries. And I wrote all these things down. And then I looked at the paper and I'm like, must be nice to be you, boo. Because like, I don't know how to become her, right? I'm sitting there with my Doritos crying onto the paper like, ah. Anyway, what I did is I decided one thing a day would be what that woman would do. So every day for a year, I just started to do what she would do. I woke up 30 minutes earlier to pray, to journal, to kind of get clear with myself. I invested in the best gym in town because if I didn't have the money to go there and I was going to show up, if I'm paying $100-something a month when I don't even have money to pay my bills, I'm going to go. So I did that because she would do that. I woke up every day and I went to work out. I started turning off my phone at 5 o'clock so that I could be with my family, be with my kids, started to turn off social media on the weekends. I started to practice positive thinking and reframing and having self-evaluation. When I could find myself falling into those limiting holes, I could pull myself out quickly and recognize that, oh, I have weaknesses, but I don't have to fall prey to those weaknesses. I can just say, oh, I see that this piece of my personality is starting to take over a bit. I'm going to just force myself to take a weekend or go get a massage and chill out. So over a year, I really worked on mindset. And what's cool is when you finally let go of the how, and I finally let go of money equals worth. And what equals worth for me is being that woman on the paper, having time. All the doors started to open. The miracles started to flow in. My parents called, "Hey, Stef, we've got a van. You can use this for a year for free." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And then I got another call. "Hey, Stef, do you do any consulting? We'd love to hire you for some social media consulting." They paid me 4 times what I would have asked for. Like, all of these provision and favor and miracles came in to get me through the bridge. And then when I got through the bridge, I realized I have these incredible strengths in sales and marketing. I love public speaking, empowering women. I'm going to help women create really incredible online businesses that are in line with their own God-led call, and put in a whole lot of mom life mess in there as well, because this is who I really am. So about 2.5 years ago, I started just showing up online and teaching. I started with attraction marketing because that's what I knew. And it morphed into online marketing, sales, online courses, all of that. And then I kind of paired it with Christianity, which is what my faith is. And I created a micro niche, and the women just loved it because I was them. And now today I run a passive business because most of my income comes from online courses. I have a podcast that has exploded my community. And I am literally the woman on the paper. And it blows my mind every day to know that you have the power to become anything in the world that you want that's in line with your soul call. And so the most beautiful thing is, through the dark, you will find the light. That's the story.
I'm just like, mic drop. Like, what do you even say after that?
It was a journey.
Just incredible. Like, what an incredible journey. Like, there were so many things that I was just writing down, and then the story just kept getting bigger and more beautiful. And I think it just speaks so much truth to so many other moms, because it's honestly rare, just like woman to woman, coach to coach. It's hard to find other successful moms who are in business, doing what we're doing in a way that feels good and looks good, and like in a way, like in our soul, that we desire to also live out. And it's difficult to find. And I see so many women with the fear of having a family. They reach out to me, they'll DM me, and they have a fear of being a mom. They have a fear of, and I get it, because I was totally the same way. Like, we didn't plan it. It was a total shock. It was obviously meant to be, but it was a shock. And, I get these DMs from these women all the time. Like, is it possible? So to hear your story and to have you shed so much light on so beautifully how it was a step at a time, where this was a really digestible way that you were able to explain and to show how you allowed yourself to step into who it is that you are now. I think, it's something I talk about a lot too, of becoming this woman and really visualizing and understanding and knowing who she is, so then you can start to become her. And I love, though, how you shared that it gets to be just a step at a time. Like, these are the digestible ways. Like, I just put my phone away by 5:00, and that's just what I do now. And you started just to bring these small little things that any woman who's listening to this, even if they've heard this before, could be like, oh shit. That's fallen out of place. I totally am doing that again, because we're human, and like, that shit happens. And like, you have a bad day, and sometimes, you do something else, and that pattern carries over, and you don't even realize a week later that like you're still doing these things. So whether you've never heard this before or you have heard this before, it's a really great gut check to say, oh shoot, like, am I doing those things? Am I honoring that within myself? And being able just to check back in with that. So thank you so much for sharing your story, because it was so, I feel like any woman can really feel and hear themselves in where you've been and where you are, and just hopefully seeing like, oh shit, like, if she can do that, so can I,
Yeah. Oh, yes. And on that, you said something there. It was being able to self-evaluate. So this is something that I think less than 1% of the population is able to do. We're not willing to look at ourselves every day and say, which piece of me can I improve? Because it's easy to just be, and to just, I'm not really good at that. So I'm just going to accept it that I'm not good at that. I'm not good at business because I have to be a focused mother, or I can't be a good mom because I don't have the skill set that she has. Like, you have to self-evaluate and say, where am I making excuses in my life? and take action to get better at that, even if it's 1% better at that thing, day by day by day, because you can transform any piece of your life. You truly have the power to do it, but you have to claim it. And then you actually have to do it, which is the hardest part.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree that embodying is the hardest thing there. We can get a lot of pings of inspiration, and we can hear it in a podcast. We can read it on a quote in an Instagram feed, and we can feel like so fucking lit up. And we're like, "Hey, I'm going to go out and do the thing." But then when it's actually time to do the thing, it's actually time. Like we've all been there where we've been like so excited about a program, and we're waiting for them to launch it, launch it, open it up, right? I'm going to buy it. Then you go to the sales page, you're like, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to hold on. And you just dial back and you just hold up and it's so funny. It's so funny how we do that. But anyways, I kind of wanted to chat a little bit about this mompreneur life. And I like to bring a lot of realness to this, again, I like women to be able to feel like they can see themselves in us. I think that there are a lot of people out there where it can be very painted as a picture of maybe, it's impossible, or maybe they have a lot of other support or help, and nothing is wrong with having a lot of support or help. But I think it's great to just share with everybody what this real life looks like, day to day, and how you manage being this, mompreneur and successful in a business, but thriving in your family. I know you probably mentioned a few of those things earlier, and maybe those are parts of the habits or the patterns or the beliefs that you've brought in to navigating this life where you get to have everything, essentially. You get to have it all. You get to have, being a present mom, but also a present spouse, and also a thriving coach with a really successful business, because it's something that everyone's like, I want this, but my life is a disaster right now. How do I even get there?
Sure. So let me start by saying that it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So I think what you first have to do is say, I'm willing to give myself grace on becoming this woman after you've done that homework to write her down. And then you have to get super intentional with the life you want. And for me, it's not just easy every day where you wake up and say, I naturally want to go to the gym and I hear birds chirping and I'm positive and I'm going to spend all this time with my kids and play Legos, because my inherent drive, what I was created for, is to work, and to a huge piece of my soul is entrepreneurship. And so it's a battle for me to say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym instead of working because I have an extra hour right now. It's just very natural for me to work. I love to work. It lights me up, but it doesn't create the best me. So you have to be really honest with yourself and say, am I spending time in the places that will create the best me possible? So to show you kind of that anyone can do this, and whether you have a full-time job, little children, you're all alone and you don't have any support, you can still do this. So let me show you kind of how this works. So I wake up 30 minutes before everyone else in my house. I'd rather sleep, right? But I know that's the only time that I can get in my prayer, my journaling, my me time to just center and focus for the day. And it was difficult at first to wake up earlier than everyone else, but it's an intentional choice that you have. You can make that choice, or you can keep sleeping. So again, take your power and say, what would this woman do that I want to become? Then we do the school thing, take all the kids to school, and I decide to go to the gym. That is a decision that I make every single day. And I didn't feel like going today. I didn't feel like going and pumping some weight. I was not in the mood. I went anyway. And guess what? I feel so much better because I did it. My endorphins got pumping. I'm ready to show up for Autumn's show. And I had another interview today. And I feel better about myself, right? I feel healthy. Then I know, I've got all of these pockets of time to work. I've got from 11 to 1 when little human is still in preschool. Then I have his nap time. So I have 4 hours to work today. So here's where we get stuck. What should we do in this time that I have? I have so many things. I could watch a show, eat chocolate, scroll Instagram, make a caption. No. When you have uninterrupted pockets of time, if you want to be really successful in your business without taking all day long to do it, you get focused. You are only as successful as your focus. So I sit down and I say, is it one of these 3 things? Number 1, does it make me money? So this would be taking a client. This would be working on a course or something, or working on your launch. Number 2, is it PR? Is it public relations? Am I serving and solving for free? Are you on your podcast? Are you on your YouTube channel? Are you blogging? You've got to give and give and give your best work possible for people to trust you and ultimately buy from you. So is it doing one of those 2? Or 3, is it bringing you joy and lighting you up? Which for me is the gym. So make sure you're only doing one of those 3 things when you have work, quote unquote, time. And of course, play with that, because there are certain times where you have to do something that's not on that list. But I would say 80% of your time is spent there. Then after that, you can think about, what else do I need to make the best me? Do I need family time? Do I need to go take a run? Do I need to go get groceries? Like, what are the other things you have to do for your life? And you plug those into your planner. So my day is very structured. I plan it the day before so that I know all the things I'm doing. I don't negotiate on that stuff. I don't go to lunch with Nancy last minute. I don't take the phone call from Joe and he's complaining about his life because I'm his sounding board. No, guys, like, my boundaries are solid. And when I'm working, I'm working. And that's what created for me the open space to do all the other things that I want to do. And then the biggest hack I have for you is, especially those of you in the coaching space, the online world, we get lost there and we are really not present. And so I recognized, I just self-evaluated, I have a problem. I'm on social media all day, every day. I feel reactive. I'm going to change that behavior. I chose to change the behavior, delete the apps every single weekend. Instagram and Facebook are gone. You can't get a hold of me. I can't see it. I can't click it. It's gone. And it's liberating and it's incredible. And it feels so good to know that you actually have power over the hours in your day. And guess what? It's still there when I get on Monday. I feel refreshed and ready to show up more intensely on stories, to write everyone back with a fresh mind and a fresh heart. So those are my secrets for how I kind of balance everything. And you play with it, see what works for you. What that schedule is what works for me. You may find that you want to just spend weekends working and the weekdays are for whatever else, or like, you have to play with the schedule. But once you find what works for you, make it a routine, and 21 days doing those things will become a habit, and then you won't feel any more resistance.
Just beautiful. That was so good. Thank you so much for sharing so much tangible tips again that people can literally go and take and apply into their life. I think that it's so beautiful for us to be able to assess hey, what do we need? But to also have that example and that hard evidence of what's working for somebody else can be a really great mirror and navigation system for you to start to try things on for yourself to figure out what could work for you and what might not work for you. And so that was really beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. I feel like everybody can walk away with something from that. I wanted to talk now a little bit about the passive income that we were talking about earlier. And I love that you shared so much about how you started network marketing, because that's also where I started. So I can completely resonate and relate to so much of your story when you're talking about network marketing. And that's actually so much of why, it's such a great gateway. And when you get into this space, online as an entrepreneur, you really do start to realize the potentiality of what it is that you can create and what you can do, and the power that you have within yourself and your own magic, and how you can take your experiences and what you know and what you have learned to do really well, whether that is in other areas of your life, whether it's, maybe it's just being a mom, or maybe it's in a corporate position, or who even knows what else, you might have been doing in your life, but to take that experience and turn it into gold, to turn it into something else is so powerful. But I'm curious for anybody who's maybe listening and they're like, okay, what the fuck is passive income? Can you define it in your way on what passive income is to you?
Absolutely. So there's 3 different ways you guys can make money. Number 1 is you can exchange time for money, right? That's the coaching. It's an hour with someone. It's the job. It's the corporate job. You work, you make money. The second thing you can do is residual income. Now, this would be something like network marketing, where you show up every month, but people are paying you every month. It's commission for sales, maybe. It's a membership group, potentially. Now, the third, and my favorite, is passive income. This income is something you create, and then you step away from it and people continue to purchase it without you being involved. So my favorite method of passive income is online courses. So for example, I'm visual. That's why I do this, because I'm so visual that if I don't have examples, I'm like, what the heck is she talking about? Yeah. So I kept getting clients that were asking me how to start a podcast, right? They're like, we see what your show has done for you. We hear you. Can you show me how to launch a show? What would I call it? How do I host it? What's the SEO look like? What are my categories? Like they didn't understand the how pieces of getting the show up and running and then monetizing it. So I would take all these clients at hundreds of dollars an hour. And I'm like, why am I teaching the same thing over and over? This is me exchanging time for money, and I'm solving the same problem. That's when I had an aha moment. And I had a couple courses already, but this one was like this prominent problem that my audience was facing. When you guys notice you're answering the same thing over and over, you have to think about, how can I create a standalone solution for people where I can walk away? So I created an online course for this, a podcasting course. And this was a win-win because people didn't have to hire me at a premium anymore. They could take the course, save money. For me, I didn't have to meet with people one-on-one. It opened up my space and time again, because time is more important to me than money. Time is my most incredible currency. So I created this course, and it's amazing. Women can hop in there, learn how to launch, scale, monetize a show, and it's completely passive. So that's what it is. And there's an example for you to really wrap your mind around and get your wheels spinning on how you might be able to create something that is a solution that lives out there in the interwebs without you showing up. It's a beautiful thing. 90% profit margin on courses.
Okay, so I love how you defined and broke down what passive income looks like and how this can be so fucking beneficial to anybody in business to be able to have money being generated at any point of whether whether you share it with them or whether they find it. I'm curious now for like the woman who's a coach or an entrepreneur of another kind, and maybe she's also looking at creating a online course. How do you scale it? Are you, because everyone's like, this is great. I love the idea of being able to create something. And I'd like to talk about that in a little bit more. But now I'm just kind of curious on what your take is on this, right? Because there's so many ways. There's the attraction marketing, there's organic marketing, there's Facebook Lives, there's Facebook ads, there's, there's so many ways on your podcast, right? Like there's so many different ways that you can deliver this information and do the sales and marketing for it. So I'm curious what it is that you do and how you find that really is so impactful in your business and for passive income.
Sure. So the first thing I'm going to say here is that once you've created an online course, if you don't have a following yet, don't quit your job and be like, but I created a course, so I'm going to quit my job and it's going to like rain dollar bills, right? Because we still have the work to do of getting people to trust you, to learn from you, and eventually they want to learn how to implement from you, which is what your course will do. So my number one driver that scales my brand and my community and instills trust is my podcast. And that's why I teach women how to start a podcast and then how to monetize it using a course, because there's two pieces to the puzzle. It's showing up every single week for free, pouring out your most valuable solutions against all of what you're hearing in your head going, you're giving it away for free. Well, that's what creates the trust. So I chose podcasting because that's where my woman hangs out. She's in the car listening. She's working out, listening. She's busy. She's got kids. She's doing laundry. So video wasn't the right platform for me, but it might be video for you, whether that's YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or it could be audio, which would be podcasting. And some of you, it might even be blogging. Blogging is not dead. It's just slower. So that's not to say that that's bad, but you have to find the content vessel that lights you up. And I tried them all till I figured out it was podcasting. So try something. And if it doesn't feel great, try something else and know that you've got to show up and serve your avatar for free over and over and over and over and over. That's how you scale organically for free. Now, while you're scaling for free, you can be monetizing. So, for example, let's say you have a wellness podcast and you're really specifically niched in on moms that have a busy schedule and you're teaching them health and wellness. And then maybe you have the Mommy Butt Guster course. I don't know. And Gut Buster course. So you would get on your show and be like, blah, 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 blah. This show is sponsored by my own course. the Gut Buster course. And you guys, I just launched it. You can grab it at pre-sale pricing. I'm super excited. It's going to be $47 for the next couple of weeks. Go learn about it at blah, 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 blah.com. And today, let's dig into the free training, right? So you can monetize whatever you're doing, whether it's video or copyright or audio with your course. And it's going to grow over time. You're not going to launch organically and explode, but over 6 months of me podcasting and really utilizing SEO and like Pinterest has been phenomenal for me. I have a whole Pinterest training if you guys want to go listen to that on my show. It went, tens of thousands more women in the community, 98% growth in revenue. So it was organically grown. The next step that for me has worked really well is then taking your organic growth and putting some money behind it, which is ads, Facebook and Instagram advertising. So once you know something's working, you can create a simple ad strategy behind it or hire someone or whatever you need to do to just, hey, a little bit of money here, a little bit of targeting to help that growth go faster. And this would be, for me, what I like to do is push out my freebies, like my podcast checklist or my podcast quiz, to the type of woman that's listening to my show. So that's how I pour a little bit of fuel on that fire. Does that make sense, Autumn?
Yeah, no, this makes a lot of sense. I think that there's, again, so many beautiful like pieces of having the podcast. Like podcasting has been one of my favorite things like in my business ever. It's so cool how it connects you to people so authentically. And all you have to do is sit down and have a conversation. You're like, hey, what's up? How are you? What's going on? Tell me about everything that you love. Tell me about like,
it's easy. It's not hard.
It's so easy. And like the hardest thing is how like, you get in your head about how it has to be hard, and you get in your head about how it has to be more difficult and how you're really nervous to interview a certain person. Like, I can totally resonate with this, but when I first started my podcast, a lot of my clients feel like this too when they're starting theirs. And it's that like, I'm scared to ask other people to be on it. I'm scared, like, why would they want to be on mine? And it was a huge moment for me to get out of my own head and realize that I was on the same playing field in the arena of all the women that I also was looking up to. And there was something to look up to. Like we were all in the same place, the same arena. We were just in different parts of our journey, and they were all valid and perfect, and there was nothing wrong with them. And when I got to do that and have that opportunity to reach out and say, hey, I'm starting this thing. I'm so excited about it. Do you want to come on and talk? Like, I would love to be able to have a conversation with you and share you with like whoever is listening to me. And they're like, yes. And it made me feel like, oh, like what am I scared about? And it shifted so much of my confidence and my ability as a coach and a speaker and an expert, because I wasn't just sitting there spewing out content just written or typed out every day. And that's powerful. Don't get me wrong, but there's something to be said about what happens when you're willing to put yourself into a container like this and have a raw conversation. Or, even if you have questions, like I bring questions, I bring topics, I bring things into conversation because I want to make sure that there's things to talk about. But, it changes so much about how you show up and who you are, and how I feel people really resonate and align with you, because you have that courage, that bravery to say, I'm willing, that my message is worthy of being heard. I'm worthy of being heard, and I'm worthy of being in the same rooms of the women that I'm really inspired by too. And I want to have a conversation, and there's enough abundance around as well that like, I can bring this type of a woman in here and it's not going to take away from me. And I love podcasting. So this is such a powerful conversation because I know that there's so many women out there that are still feeling like I want to have one and I desire to have one, when I'm nervous about all these like little things. So to know that you also have a podcast course, which is great. You guys can go over obviously and go check it out, and you have all the tools right there to help somebody get started, which is incredible. I'm curious a little bit about like, do you have this, is this something that you open like throughout the year, or is it always existing on your page? And then how do you go about supporting? Because again, there's so many different ways that people create programs and courses nowadays. And so I'm super curious to hear how you have found this to be so impactful for your audience.
Yes. So I've always done just open courses where people can enroll at any time, but I'll run like promo offers once in a while. Like we're just coming up to the 1-year anniversary of my podcast. So I'm going to do a promotion where they can get $100 off the course for a week. And so I'm playing with those because urgency always sells. And people are always waiting for a reason to buy something. So whether that's certain bonuses or celebrations, or you want to offer Christmas offers and things, or you want to close your course completely and then relaunch it certain times per year. The reason I didn't choose the launch strategy is because time is money for me. And I feel that launching is so energetically draining for me that I just don't dig it. And I decide that I've chosen to follow things that feel good to me. So I'm like, having it there for her when she's ready feels really good to me, but I'll throw her a bone now and then. So I think you have to play with what feels really right for you. And along those lines as well, when you create a course, it's not going to be perfect the first time. I want to say this as well. And I have 6 courses. I'm retiring one because it no longer serves me and I don't want to update it all the time. I have little ones, I have large courses, but you have one course you're going to find over time. You have one question that you're getting and it lights you up. And that becomes your signature. And when you finally find your signature thing or your signature offer, put all of your energy into it and think about what are the freebies you can offer that will lead people to this, right? So I've got a podcast launch checklist. I have the free quiz. Is podcasting right for you? I have a podcast launch hacks, 5 hacks you need to know. So the people that are searching for a course, they're going to start with those freebies, right? And then they're going to get put into a simple email sequence that teaches, again, more. There's more training. There's podcast episodes about podcasting. There's live coaching on podcasting. By the time she's done in 6 to 8 weeks learning from me, she's probably ready to buy this course. So think about that when you're launching. And I also really prefer evergreen. So I have an evergreen webinar, 10 steps to podcasting, where I don't show up. Because again, time is money. So how can you automate the sales piece of your course? If you're like me, if you just want to show up all the time and launch, like go girl, sister, get it. Not for me, because it's just a lot. Does that help? So evergreen, automation, really incredible freebies that lead into more training and content that they can learn from you and trust you. She's not ready to buy day one, but she is ready to buy in the second month or so. Typically, if she was ready to buy by then, she'll buy, right?
Yeah, no, this makes total sense. So I love that it's automated. I love that you have a system set up that people can basically purchase and jump into this whenever. I love that you're taking back your power and being able to say, this is information that I don't need to control. I don't need to be here. I don't need to have my hand held with you every single day. You are empowered enough to take this information and do more with it. And if you so desire, like I'm sure maybe you offer yourself at a premium.
Yes.
And right, like, and so there is that extended support if they so desire, but they also get this option and this choice in a way that's also probably digestible for a mom that's also really busy. And that's the power of knowing your niche. That's the power of knowing who you're serving and who's actually buying your products and your services. And I know sometimes in the spiritual world, we can get so resistant to that.
Yeah.
But I think that there's power behind that because it really can drive how you structure your programs, how you structure your sales, how you structure your offers, and setting them up so then it can really be the most powerful that it possibly can for their consumption and their growth too. We were kind of talking a little bit about like beforehand. I guess I'm just kind of curious when you're going into the creation of your programs or your courses, what makes it so powerful? Like what makes it so profitable? Or is it the fact that you're doing it with your one-on-one clients first? Like this is the work that you're doing with one-on-one before you're taking it to create it to a program. Because I know that there's a lot of women that will create a program. They get so excited about it. They launch it once. Maybe one person signs up, maybe nobody signs up, maybe 3 sign up and they're like, oh my gosh, nobody wants this. I'm a failure. I'm going to go hide under a rock. I'm going to stuff it away forever. And I think there's something to be said about like where programs begin, how it starts, and like how it kind of gets there, because I think that's a big missing piece that people don't talk about.
I love this question so much. So out of my 6 courses, 2 of them were done the right way, and 4 of them were done, in my opinion, the wrong way. So let me explain that to you. The first one came about because all these people were asking me, how do I sell my products online and grow a huge network marketing business on social media? So I created this course that was the Facebook and Branding Bootcamp, and it taught them how to market on Facebook, how to brand themselves. I ran it as a group coaching program first. It was insanely high demand because I was getting the question over and over. Sold out the group coaching twice, packaged it up as a online self-study course, and off it went. And for like 2 years, it was insanely profitable. And then I just wasn't excited about training network marketers anymore. So I kind of stopped pushing that course. So then I was like, well, what's next? Well, I grew an amazing Instagram following. So I must know how to grow Instagram. So I'm going to create a course. No one asked me, Stefanie, how do you grow Instagram? I thought that it was what I should create. Created this course. I sold 20 or 30, which was great. And then it sat there. And then I was like, I don't want to update Instagram every year because it changes every 5 minutes. Oh, snap. I shouldn't have done that course. That wasn't in alignment for my audience. It was me trying to create something new that wasn't demanded. So the point of this story is that don't go create something until you've shown up in your community consistently long enough for free to know what she wants, and ask you every day in my Instagram stories. There's a question every day. What do you guys want more of? Do you want more live coaching? Do you need help with this? Do you need help with that? How can I serve you? Where are you struggling? What is your hot point? I have to hear from them. I pay attention to my metrics. Which of my podcast episodes are doing the best? Because that's what they want more of. Which are failing, which don't have any listens. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. So you have to really get yourself out of the way, which is difficult. But when I finally started recognizing, what is she asking me for? Oh, she's asking me for podcasting help over and over and over and over again. Then you create the course. And when you're creating your course, don't think about how big can I make this? The bigger the course, the better. The question when you're creating a course is, how do I get her from point A to point B as quickly, simply, and effortlessly as possible with tangible, tactical training? Show her how. Don't talk about it. Don't feel all over it. Here is step 1, 2, and 3 to get you to the solution. And that's also how you price your course. What is that solution worth to her? And if it ends up being 2 simple modules that get her from this mindset block through it, boom, you have a course, and you can now have someone pay you for that solution. So people get lost too in how big is it? How beefy is it? What do I charge for it? It's no. How do you get them to the solution quickly and effortlessly? Like when I get into a course, and you probably feel this way, Autumn, I don't have all day. Tell me how to do what I want to do and get out of my way. Like that's why I bought this course from you, right?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Amen.
You're skipping stuff. Like I don't want to, I'm skipping the fluff. So just cut it out. Like don't even put the fluff in there. It's not needed.
You know, I love that you mentioned that, because I think that there is this feeling, and I get it from my clients all of the time. It's like, I should add this, I should add this, I should have that. Even if it's their one-on-one coaching, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like, you're not enough as you are, as it is, the information, and like, it has to be fluffed up. It has to have more for it to be worthy of a lot of value. And then my thought and my question was, it's like, well, then when does it fucking stop? Like,
yes.
If you want it to be at this amount of rate, what are you going to have to give to feel like, okay, now this is enough for me to charge that? You're going to be like absolutely drained. You can't, there's got to be a cap somewhere. And so there is being able to really look at that and recognize, where am I trying, like, where am I not feeling like who I am and what I know? And this simplicity isn't worth massive amounts for the result that it can get versus like the value, the perceived value that they're going to get from the information, the amount of time that they're getting information. So no,
like I'd rather have an hour that got me to the solution than 6 weeks of fluff that got me to the same solution. Like I'll pay $1,000 for an hour that gets me there, right?
Amen.
That makes sense, you guys?
No, this makes so much sense. And I think that's really powerful. So anybody who's listening and they're thinking about their higher rates or their higher ticket packages, or they're thinking about their programs right now and they're creating them, they're probably going to go back and reevaluate, okay, where did I add in too much fluff? Where am I undercharging myself? Where am I actually having this out of alignment because I think there needed to be this to be worth this. And I really do think that there's probably going to be some like light bulbs going off right now and going back to the drawing board. And I'm happy about that though. This gives people an opportunity to question themselves, to question where they're at, and to question maybe what they thought was, not that there is a right way, but what they thought was like the aligned way in this moment, and be able to maybe shift things for themselves where they didn't even realize that was going to happen when they opened up this podcast episode.
Right. And and on that point, there's no failing, because I've had courses I did a group coaching one time that totally flopped. There was 4 people, but I never felt like I need to hide and I need to like pretend that course never happened. It was self-evaluation again, guys. So let's get your ego out of the way and say, why didn't this work? Was it the wrong course? Was it the way I marketed it? And for me, it ended up being my messaging wasn't clear of what the course did for them. The end result wasn't clear. So don't feel like anything you did is a failure. Take and learn from it, and know that you're going to always create. When you do one course, that best not be your last. So just get ready to learn as you grow, and know that nothing is perfect the first time.
Thank you so much for sharing that so beautifully. I want to honor your time because I know you're a busy mama. So I want to kind of wrap this up in something so important that I always ask is, what are you celebrating?
I am celebrating that I just launched my first tangible product. It's a journal, and it's called With God, She Rises. And it's a morning routine for the Christian mompreneur. And I'm like, I have a product in the world? Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
That's amazing. Is it on Amazon?
It is. It's on Amazon at withgodsherises.com.
Perfect. Well, now everybody knows too, and they can go run and go and grab it. I'm celebrating you. That's such an exciting moment when you just put this work, this tangible thing into the world. I need to redo it. I published a journal like a couple of years ago when I first was getting started, before I even knew what the fuck was happening or who would buy it or anything. I'm like, one person wants this, cool. I need to get away to them. And so I did it. And it's such a cool feeling of having like your work in the world, and having people who you otherwise never would have touched or connected with somehow find it, tag you, connect with you, and you're like, holy shit, like I was able to really make that connection with somebody in this way. Just so beautiful. Oh, yay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so because this was such a fantastic episode, and there were so many amazing, powerful tips and energy that you brought here, I'm sure that there is going to be so many women that are looking to connect further with you. I'm going to have all of your info in the show notes. Of course, you guys can always like swipe up, but do you want to, maybe for the person who can't even wait, do you want to share where they can find you?
Yes, that's like me. I'm like, when I connect with someone, I'm like, what's her name? And I'm Googling her.
I know, I'm the same.
So you guys can find out everything about me, my podcast, all of the courses. If you're thinking of podcasting, I'm definitely excited to work with you at stefaniegass.com. And then my podcast is the Mompreneur Mastermind Show. And this is a lot of spirit-led business, entrepreneurship training, mindset work. And you can listen to that anywhere that you listen to your podcasts.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Stefanie. This was such an incredible episode. I'm so grateful that we got to connect. And I just hope that you guys love this episode so much. Feel free to tag both of us on Instagram if you listen to it. Thank you so much again for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.